Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been quite some time since my last video. I just wanted to say, actually before I even begin talking about this video, I'm just gonna let people know that whatever I'm gonna say in this one might be a bit confronting, and I know it's still controversial and stuff, and you might not necessarily agree with whatever I have to say, which is completely fine. At any point, you're more than welcome to tune out or stop watching if you think that you might not be actually interested to know. Now, the only reason I'm making this video is because when I made the first video regarding my mental health, a lot of people got back to me with really good feedbacks, and some of them really wanted me to make some more videos and talk more about these topics or share my ideas about these sorts of stuff, because they thought that might go on to help someone else, and I'm more than happy to do that. I'm more than happy to be helpful, and if me talking about these stuffs might be any sort of help to anyone, then I'm definitely gonna do it. Now, whatever I'm gonna talk about in this video, it's gonna be solely based on the environment that I grew up in back in Nepal. Now, another thing people wanted to know was where do I stand on the entire issue of mental health, depression, and suicide. Now, mental health is a really sensitive topic to me. It's really close to me and really defensive about my mental health and stuff. Now, that being said, I'm not a bright and shiny, hopelessly optimistic, happy person, right? I still battle my depression and my anxiety every day, and it's not easy, but I do it. And what keeps me going, what I found really helps is talking. Talk to someone, share what you're going through, try and get help. It really helps. So try and talk to those people, talk to some of your friends who you really trust, or like talk to your family if you think they might be able to understand, which is highly unlikely in this scenario. Like, still, they do understand, talk to them, it doesn't hurt. And I know it's definitely not easy when there are more losses in your life than wins. I'm not saying I know everything on this topic or I've figured it out. I'm just sharing my experiences, and like, you know, I'm just sharing what I've learned and how far I've come through with that, how I'm surviving right now. That's all I'm saying. Like, so when I found out that I was depressed as a kid, I had no one to compare myself to. I was left to figure out my life. I was left to figure out who I am as a person, what I want to do, what makes me happy, what am I going through, why is this happening to me. I was left to figure out everything on my own, because I could not talk to anyone. Because like, there was such a stigma with this topic, which is not easy because I had no one to compare myself to. And it sucks having to go through that phase when you're like, you feel you're completely alone. Even though there are people around you, even though there are people you talk to, but you still end up being really alone. So like, I got those sorts of vibes, right? And what I found was, and I found this from a lot of people, when someone tries to tell other people that they're depressed, especially families, you kind of got the same answer every time. Like, what do you mean you're depressed? You're just a kid. You got education, you're going to school, you're being fed, and there's a roof over your head. What else could you want? Like, what do you have to be depressed about? And I just want to say that there's so much more to life. There's so much more to life. Not like, just because your basic needs are covered, that doesn't make you, that does not make you happy. Like, it's not everyone's cup of tea, all right? Because you can see people, we know people who have so much wealth that it can last for generations, and they've been a victim of depression. And we know people who find it really hard to figure out what they're gonna eat the next day, but they still enjoy life to the fullest because they're grateful for whatever they have. It's not something that is age, sex, gender, race. It's not related to those sorts of things. Like, if you actually think about it, depression is one of the least discriminative things to ever exist. Like, it's got everyone covered, right? And it can be really confronting to talk about what you're going through, but like, that doesn't mean that there's no other options. There's always an answer. Like, there's always a way you can fight it, always. And what I found helped me, a lot of people did actually suggest me this, even when I come here. Like, I have times when I'm really down here as well. I'm not saying that I'm super happy, I'm out of depression and everything, but I do something about it now, and a lot of people have given me their insight on how they dealt with it, and I seek help, I talk to people, and that really helps. And when I don't have anyone to talk to, because everyone's got their own life, like no one's just gonna be there, so like you need to be able to take care of yourself as well. So what I found really helps me is I write things down. Like I physically write things down on a piece of paper, whatever I'm feeling, whatever I'm going through. Then I either throw it, I tear it, I burn it, or whatever, and it sort of, like, it might sound crazy, but it sort of relieves that pressure off you, like, because you finally have noted down everything that you're going through, and burning it, like destroying it, sort of feels like you're destroying your inner demons, and it really helps. Like, it might sound like it's a joke or anything, but it does really help. And also, being depressed does not mean you're mentally unstable. Now, my stance on suicide, however, like, it's proving to be really controversial with the people I have talked with back home regarding this. I am never gonna agree that people who kill themselves are cowards. And I'm definitely not gonna stand up with those people who are so quick to criticize on the ones we lost when no effort was made to help them when they were amongst us. I'm not saying suicide is an answer though, like I'm heavily against it. I'm heavily against suicide at this point. But I just think that it's not right. Like people who, like we lose people because of this, and to call the people that we lose as selfish, that's not okay. I saw this Facebook post a couple of weeks ago where someone posted saying that people who kill themselves, so people who end their lives, are selfish and they don't care about anyone. They don't care about their families. They don't care about what people went through to put them to that place, and they lost and they're losers and like they just gave up. And I could not disagree with that more. I'm speaking this from my experience when I went through that phase, which was horrible. Like, I never wish anyone has to go through that phase. When I went through that phase, that was the last thing on my mind, that I was being selfish. People that cared about me would be getting hurt. That would not even be a mere imagination. And I can tell you why. Because no one bothered to help me. People cared about me. Okay, so if I die, the people who care about me are gonna get hurt. Where were those people when I made the decision to die? That would be on my head. And another thing what would be on my head is not that I'm giving up, not that I'm losing. My mind would start to think that, okay, every step I take, everything I do, every problem that there is, how is it that it always links back to me? Then I would start to think, so does that mean if I don't exist, then the problem's solved? So that would mean that if I end it, I'm actually solving the problem, so I'm winning. That was what would go through my mind. Not that I'm giving up, not that I'm losing, but ending my life would mean that I'm actually doing something that's productive, that's freaking solving all my issues. I'm not saying that's right, that's not the right answer, obviously, like, don't do it. Don't end your life just because of that. But that does not give you the right to call anyone selfish, because it takes a long time, a really long time, for a depressed person to get to a point where they don't see an escape and killing themselves is the only answer that they can think of. It takes a really long time, and a lot of bad things have to happen in that order. It's not a split-second decision. It's definitely not a split-second decision. So if you're not gonna help the people that go through that phase, if you're not even gonna, like, it does not take that much, people. It does not take that much. Like, when you see other people, like anyone in your friend circle, you call it, whatever you call it, like anyone is acting a bit different, even just for a bit, than what they regularly do. All it takes is for you to go and ask them, how are you? How are you doing? Are you alright? It's all it takes. And you can get a bit of an insight on what they're going through. That's literally all it takes. You need to show that, like, they are not alone. That's what needs to be shown. I strongly believe that there's a massive difference between showing that you're compassionate and actually being compassionate. And people tend to mix it up a lot of the times. So all it takes is for you to go and ask them, try to communicate. And don't tell me, like, I'm not gonna believe for a second that you will never know that a person is depressed. You can always pick up on something. If a person smiles all the time and they're not for just 5 minutes in a day, or if they seem gloomy, then definitely is something wrong with them. Go and talk to them. That's all it takes. Because if you cannot read emotions, you would not be a human being. So like, humanity, people, humanity. Be there for each other. Love each other. That's all it takes. That's literally all it takes. So now I guess it's up to us and you guys to decide if you want to be the change that you think the society needs. Why wait for a change? You can be that. You can be the change, because you not giving up can act as a beacon of hope for someone who might be thinking of giving up. Be that change. And everyone deserves to be happy and loved and accepted, regardless of their age, their gender, their caste, their creed, their religion, their sexuality, their profession, regardless of any of those things. Not everyone is born, or not everyone is supposed to be, or not everyone wants to be a doctor, a pilot, or an engineer. If being goofy makes you happy, be goofy. If fashion is your go-to, break the frickin' societal stereotype and be the best damn designer there is. If dancing makes you happy, dance your heart out, because it will be worth the happiness. If social work is what thrives you, then by all means, the world can never get enough of you. If you think you're different, then be different. Because trying to fit in a group that doesn't even define what you are is not what you need. And if you think people are gonna judge you based on your body, then remember what the great Jennifer Lawrence said: calling someone fat doesn't make you skinnier. And if you're struggling with your sexuality, just remember, the rainbow is colorful, not black and white. Be whoever you want to be, and know that you're loved and you're accepted. You're not alone. You have people like you. You have people who are going to accept you regardless. And if you want me to talk about something else in my next video, or just want to get in touch with me, then by all means, comment on the video, share it if you want to, and just be happy. I'm out.